Alright guys, welcome back to another drive and talk video where I answer your questions. Been getting a lot more DMs lately, so I think this would be like a good second episode. Yeah, here we are in the middle of traffic this time. Before we jump into the questions, I just want to say I'm going to try this out a little bit more, see how I like it, if I want to keep doing it, but I feel like it's a good way to connect with you all and, answer some questions that other people may have as well. So without further ado, jumping right into question number one. Hey bro, been a long time follower. I'm going to be upgrading my turbo to IS38. I have a 3-inch downpipe, just wondering if the stock catback limits power. Thanks. So with the OEM IS38, the stock catback, I mean, it'll still work. The real difference here is if you are upgrading the catback, you're basically allowing for more flow. You're gonna get less back pressure. It'll just be like less stress on the turbocharger itself. With the stock catback, again, it'll still work, but your wastegate duty might just be a little bit higher than someone who has an aftermarket exhaust or a full exhaust system. I know that when I had my GTI and I added a catback exhaust, it did help the wastegate percentage drop a little bit. So the turbo was just working a little bit more efficiently. It wasn't as stressed because of the extra flow. So it's kind of up to you if you want to upgrade it or not. Probably see a little bit more horsepower and torque, maybe. Just depends on how hard you're pushing your current setup. I would say if your current setup, if your current turbo is it has a higher wastegate duty and it's close to being maxed out, then you'll see more benefit from an exhaust. Let's see, question number 2. Hey bro, I know this is a long shot, but can I get a modless of your Mark 7? I'm a 6-speed and I'm struggling to get that this fast, and I've seen your vid. I'm trying to get it like yours. I'm tired of being bullied by these 5.0s. So first things first, with the 6-speed, you're gonna need a clutch and you're gonna need to reduce the shifting time because that's gonna slow you down. Once you get the clutch, you wanna make sure you have a short shifter that helps clutch stop, remove the delay valve from the clutch bleeder, and doing those things will help your shifting a little bit, so you're going to be a little bit quicker than normal. But in terms of Mark 7 mods, you want to beat 5.0s. I mean, it kind of goes with every setup. You kind of just want to focus on flow. Like if you can get some good flow on there, whether it's fuel flow and when it comes to hardware at least, if you want to focus on airflow and fuel flow, I mean, those two things will really kind of just get you like the jump. I mean, these cars are pretty tunable, so as long as you have the supporting mods, I mean, they'll put in some work. But yeah, I would say just kind of focus on flow, the downpipe, the exhaust, the good intercooler, good intake, obviously a upgraded turbocharger if that's in the budget. And then in terms of fueling, like you don't want to cheap out on fueling either. Low pressure fuel pump, MPI kit. If you don't want to go MPI, then you could do high pressure fuel pump. And that should give you a decent amount. I will say when I was stock turbo on my Mark 7 GTI, all I needed was bolt-ons and E85 and I can beat the 5.0s. So it was a little bit more an aggressive tune. I was sneaky tuned at the time. Good luck with those 5.0s. All right, what we got next? Question number 3. Hi mate, I'm from the UK and I love your videos. From the GTI, I own a Polo GTI 1.8. Nice. EA AAA Gen 3. I'm planning to push around 400 brake horsepower on the IS38 turbo. Was wondering if I need the EQT 5-bar sensors for it. This one's a little bit different. I'm not too versed on the 1.8 Polos. I'm not sure what sensor they use, if it's the same as what comes on the Mark 7 GTI. If it is the same, then it's capped off around like 29 PSI. So if you're gonna go above 29 PSI, you're gonna want to upgrade to some 5-bar sensors as you mentioned there. But what I will say is that if you're on the OEM IS38, those usually don't get pushed, from what I recall. They don't usually get pushed past 29 PSI or 30 PSI. So I think if you do have the Mark 7 stock sensors, I think you might be okay with those sensors. You might not need to upgrade it. However, if you do have an IS38 hybrid turbo, something with bigger wheels, you're definitely going to want to upgrade it if you plan on pushing more PSI. So hopefully that helps. All right, guys, this one's kind of long, but definitely gonna help with the drive here in traffic. So Adrian here from Poland. Huge fan of your YouTube channel. I've been following your content for a while now. Thank you. I'm also rocking a Mark 7. I'm also rocking a manual Mark 7 GTI, putting down 408 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. I wanted to pick your brain on a few things regarding your setup, okay? Roll racing. When you're doing a roll, which gear do you usually start in? When I had my GTI, I always started in 3rd gear. Always. If I am doing a 40 roll, then I would be in 2nd gear. In the S3, it's a little bit different. It kind of just depends, but for the most part, I'm still in 3rd gear as well. It's just at a higher RPM. Gearing. Do you feel like the stock manual gearing is super long? Question mark. It feels like it takes forever to get through the gears on mine. 1000%. I always felt like the GTI had long gears because it does. To me, it kind of feels like some V8 gearing. I think that's a benefit, to be honest, because when I used to roll through like the gears and everything, a lot of cars would be shifting next to me, and that's how I'd get them every single time. They had to shift, and I'm barely hitting my top end. I feel like the manual gearing is low-key a blessing until you have to shift. Once it's time to shift, you better make sure you got that next gear locked and loaded with the little human DSG action. No lift shift. Are you running a no lift shift NLS setup, or are you just shifting normally? Yeah, so with the GTI, I did have no lift shift. I wouldn't use it all the time, to be honest. Very few instances that I did use it, and it worked. It worked great. It was awesome. I try not to default to that. Most of the time, I mean, with the gearing, it's so long, you'll be able to tell if you need to use no lift shift. Like if it's running out close and you're about to hit that red line, then, you know, maybe you could try it out against like that person, but you don't really need to. But yes, it does help. Or you're trying to get some perfect like draggy time or something, then I would say, you know, you try out the no lift shift. But if you're just having fun out there, just cruising, you don't really need it. Performance. Have you clocked any 100 to 200 kilometers per hour or 60 to 130 times? Curious to see how my car compares to yours. On the GTI, I really only did it once. I had someone who let me borrow their draggy, and I attempted it when I was OEM IS38, full 85. I think I was like 26, 27 PSI or something like that. And I did low 10 seconds. And that was very humbling. Shortly after, I went hybrid turbo with MPI. All right, guys, let's see. I think we got room for one more question. Yo, bro, how are you? I have a question. My TCU is unlocked, and I have a 2022 Audi S3. If I go with unitronic stage 293, is it good like yours? Question mark. And how much horsepower are you making? Is it good like mine? Well, I mean, I've never had personal experience with the unitronic tunes. It is an off-the-shelf tune. I am running a custom tune, so in terms of like aggressiveness, my map would be different from whatever off-the-shelf maps, as far as I know. Is it as good as mine in terms of like reliability or something? Again, I don't really have personal experience with the unitronic, so I can't, you know, speak on that. But a 93 tune, stage 2, it won't be making as much power as I did on an E50-ish blend. 93 tune. Any ethanol tune should be quicker than like a pump file. My custom file drove great. I would always check like the data logs in between revisions just to see how it's performing and making sure like all the boost targets and fueling and stuff looks okay. So I feel like I'm on top of my stuff when it comes to like the revisions and whatnot. So I'm very anal about that stuff. I want to make sure everything is running efficiently as it could. We're not leaving anything on the table. So I think what I'm doing is a lot different from like the average person who just wants to have like a off-the-shelf stage 2 file. While those are great, I would say they're probably not as aggressive as the stuff that I'm doing with the custom E85 or E50 blend. All right, guys, that's all the time we have today for questions, but this was a fun episode. Hopefully these questions that were answered helps other people out who watched this video. If you enjoyed it, as always, give it a like, helps the channel grow, and hope to catch you on the next one. Peace.